Hey, Steve Jolly with the Home Buying Skills channel. On today's show, we're going to talk about, do you need a real estate agent to buy a home? Are you ready to get started? Let's get to business. Now, the first thing I want to say is you do not need an agent to buy a home. And I'm saying that as a realtor, especially if you're a seasoned investor. And I even know everyday people that have gone out and bought a home without using an agent. And even some of them have even been successful. But most of them use the listing agent in that process. So here's why using the listing agent to buy a home is a bad strategy. Most people go to the listing agent to purchase a home because they think that's going to save them on the buyer's commission for the property. But when you do that, the first thing that the agent is thinking is, I'm going to make both sides of the commission. And the first thing that the seller is thinking is that I'm going to save on the buyer commission. So all three people can't benefit from that commission savings. And the seller is the one that's paying it because it's coming out of their proceeds. So who do you think is most likely going to save that money? Is it going to be you, the buyer? Is it going to be the seller? Or is it going to be the listing agent? Well, what happens in real life most of the time, it's the listing agent and the seller that benefit from the buyer coming unrepresented. So that's one of the reasons why it's a bad idea, because you think you're saving money. People will let you believe that you're saving money, and that's not really the case. Also, if the listing agent is hired by the seller and is paid by the seller, are they going to give you the same level of service, the same loyalty as they do to their own client? And are they going to give you that same level of loyalty when you know what hits the fan? That's why you need to think about it before you work with the listing agent if you're the buyer. Another option the listing agent may offer you is dual agency. And that's when the listing agent represents both the buyer and the seller in the contract. So with dual agency, I believe it's impossible to be loyal to the interest of two parties that are competing against each other in a transaction. Since that's impossible, how are they going to serve you and the seller in the same way, with the same level of service, with the same level of loyalty and honesty and trustworthiness? I think it's impossible to do with dual agency, and it's even more impossible if the listing agent is only representing the seller in the process. So all these things you need to consider before you decide to work with the listing agent as a buyer. For the average buyer, I'm going to encourage you to use an agent, and I'm going to give you 7 reasons why I think you should use an expert agent in the process. And here's the first one. It's price. When it comes to knowing the market value of the home that you want to purchase, how can you do that on your own? Can you evaluate this property, compare it to the others that are on the market, similar sales and listings, and come up with a true market value for the house? If you can do that on your own, that's great, but most people can't. And so that's where you need an agent to step in to help you know whether the price that you want to pay is too high, too low, or it is right as the market sees it. No one wants to lose out on a home because they didn't offer enough. And they also don't want to leave money on the table because they overpaid for the home. So pricing is important when you're going to buy a home, because you need to know exactly what the market value is so you pay that and not a penny more. Here's the second item, and it's the condition of the home. The condition of the home can significantly affect the price. If it's in bad shape, or if it's in average shape, or if it is in fully renovated shape, that same house will vary significantly in price if it's in bad shape or if it's fully renovated by as much as hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we really need to be able to take the condition of the home and be able to find out all the things that are good and bad about the home, all the renovated items, all the items that need repair, and put value to those and add that to the true value of the house to come up with the home's value. If we can't do that based on the condition of the home, we're going to be in trouble in setting that market value for the property and making sure that we don't pay a penny more than what the value for that home should be. Now, your agent should be able to guide you through those adjustments, whether they're renovations or whether they're repairs that need to be made. Your agent should be able to guide you through that process. The number 3 thing is location. Location is so important. And where an agent can help you with that is, first of all, especially if you're not familiar with the area, if you find an area that you think you might like, they can show you other similar areas around the city or around the greater metro area that are similar to what you're looking for, so that you have something to compare to. Now, if all of your friends told you you need to move to a certain city, that may not be the right city for you. So you want to make sure that you talk to a realtor, a local expert in that market, so they can share with you all of the similar areas where you can find a similar home at a similar price with similar amenities to what you're looking for. And they can give you options that you didn't know that you had. The other thing that they can do, if you're not from the area, is they can get you up to speed really quickly on a community. So if you need to learn certain information, they probably have already pulled it up before, and they can get that information towards you. For example, if you need to learn about schools, they probably already have connections at most of the local schools, and they can find somebody that can talk to you and walk you through what you're trying to do to see if it's a good fit for you in this location. So your agent is going to be able to bring you up to speed quickly on a location, and they're going to bring you more than one option, so you can see how many different places that I might want to live in are available in this area, and then find the one that's best for you and your family. Number 4 is paperwork. Paperwork is one of the things most people dread about that home buying process. And here's why: is because most people don't understand, and they don't have the time to take to read through the documents. And that's where an agent can help you. They can walk you through the document and give you a basic explanation of every section of the contract, every section of the offer, and all the associated documents, so you know what you're signing and you feel comfortable about what you're signing. I would never want anybody to sign something they don't understand. So it is incredibly important for somebody to review that contract with you, because you're going to be held responsible for all the things you agree to do in that contract. Another thing your agent's going to do is they should read through that contract for you, and they should pull out all your responsibilities and duties and time frames that you have to complete them in, and share that information with you. So you make sure that you follow the rules of that contract to a T, to make sure you hold up your best interest in what you're trying to do. Because if you don't follow those rules and responsibilities that you agree to in the contract, the seller may be able to cancel the transaction on you. And that's the last thing you want to happen. So you need to know what those rules are, what you're supposed to do, and when it's due by. And then if you have any legal questions or need legal advice, they should be able to point you to an attorney that can help answer those questions and concerns for you. Number 5 is negotiations. And buying a home is a series of negotiations. There's 2 or 3 negotiations in every transaction. So you negotiate the offer. You typically negotiate on the inspection, any repairs that need to be done, and you may even have to negotiate on the price after an appraisal is completed. So if you're not a good negotiator, if you're not a top-notch, world-class negotiator, then I would recommend that you get a trusted expert agent on your side to help you through that negotiation process. A good agent, one that can negotiate, will help you, will pay for themselves during this process. Now, not only will an agent help you get a better deal, but they're going to give you some assurance that you're not getting ripped off in this transaction. So an agent is there to help you to make sure you're doing right and you're not getting burnt. The number 6 reason that I'd recommend that you hire an agent is advice. So if you have a question, if you have a concern, where are you going to turn for honest, reliable answers if you don't have somebody working for you, if you don't have an expert on your side, in your corner, helping you get through that process? And if you have one question in the process, you're going to have a million questions. And if you don't have somebody to turn to, you're going to feel all alone and you're going to be unsure about what you're doing. Get the advice of a trusted expert in your area. And the 7th reason that I would recommend that you hire an agent is because of the pay. Now, in most cases, the buyer's agent is paid from the seller's proceeds. So no money comes directly out of your pocket into the buyer's agent's pocket. They are paid through the proceeds that the seller receives at the closing of the sale. Because of these 7 reasons, I typically recommend everybody that wants to buy a home have an agent working with them through that transaction. I hope you enjoyed today's video on home buying. If you liked the video, click the like button to let me know that you enjoyed it. If you have any specific questions, leave them in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you'll never miss one of our videos. Take care.